This week on The Gun Room, we take a close look at CZ's latest introduction, the Bren 2.
All me ain't got much to do with who you know. Yeah, keeping it true to form, but they already knew that, y'all. Here we go.
Now, I've been really looking forward to the introduction of this gun ever since I shot one of the pre-production examples in the Czech Republic about 3 years ago. Now, this gun is a short-stroke piston gun. It has an aluminum receiver, and it's very, very modular. And it's kind of what the SCAR should have been had the factory supported it the way the US market wanted it to go. Now, before we dive into this gun, let's take a look at the accessories that's kitted out with, because obviously it didn't come out of the box this way. So, up front, I've got a Spartan Precision Valhalla bipod, which is 70-75 aluminum and carbon fiber, super lightweight. I've got some HB Industries controls, such as the charging handle, ambi safety, and trigger. And for glass, I'm running a Meopta 1:6x24 and a Trigicon SRO and a 45-degree offset mount. Those are all the accessories. Let's take a look at this gun, take it apart, see what makes it tick. So to start off with, I'm just gonna make sure it's clear and the hammer's cocked. I'm then gonna take off the lower receiver using my handy dandy takedown tool, pressing out the front pin, taking that off and stripping the lower receiver. That contains the fire control group, as you'd expect. Once that's off, I'm gonna partially fold the carbon fiber reinforced stock and press down the takedown tab at the back. That's gonna give me access to the recoil spring and the bolt carrier. Now, the bolt carrier group is attached to this little shuttle here with the charging handle, and you've got a little catch to push down to remove it. That's the bolt carrier group out of there, and as you can see, we've been running it pretty hard already, and it's kind of filthy. Although there's not a whole lot of carbon on it because it's a short stroke piston gun. Once that's stripped, I can then take out the gas piston. Again, just press down on the little latch, turn the gas regulator, remove the piston, remove the regulator, and take out the op rod. That's a gun pretty much stripped as far as you need to go. You can take down the bolt carrier a little bit further in order to pull out the bolt, but really, again, because it's a short stroke piston gun, you're probably not going to need that. Spray it down with brake cleaner and wipe it off, and you're ready to go. Now, I'm going to put this gun back together because rather than just burn a couple of rounds down the range and call it good, like a bunch of reviewers are going to do with this gun, I'm going to put it through a Lead-Forcer Tactical LPVO class. The reason for that is I've already shot about 800 rounds through this gun just to make sure that I know where the controls are. What we're going to do now is take it out to Kansas, slam it against some car hoods, against some trunks, shoot from underneath vehicles. We're going to take it out about 500 yards and really put it through the ringer. See if this gun can hold up, because as everybody knows, if it's going to die, it's going to die during a class, it's going to die during a competition, or it's going to crap out when you really need it. Where better to test the Bren's capabilities than at a Lead-Forcer Tactical Carbine course. So over the course of the next 3 days, we're going to run about 1,200 rounds through this gun, and then I'm going to hand it to the students, and they're going to treat it like a rented meal. Stick around, see if it survives.
Shooter is ready. There you go, hit. 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 A little hot. Hit. Hit. Good. All right, post up, Ian.
One of the things I love about putting guns through their paces, especially on a class, is that it shows up all their weaknesses, strengths, and any little peccadillos they might have. Now, we shot maybe 2,500 rounds over the course of 3 days, and a couple of things that really brought it home to me was that, first of all, this muzzle device, good piece of kit. It's not too blasty, it's not really obnoxious inside of vehicles, and it does a really good job about taming the recoil from the mighty 223. We also shot it with an OSS can on it, just to see if that would affect operation at all, and if we needed to use the 3-position settings on the gas regulator in order to tame it down any. Now, the OSS is a pretty low blowback design, so we didn't need to use the gas regulator to dial down the amount of gas in there. One of the things that I was expecting to see, though, was the whole operating system slow down some when we got to the end of the class, because this doesn't have an adverse setting. I was kind of expecting to need an adverse setting after 2,500 rounds. Didn't need it at all. The gun just keeps chugging along. I was also expecting the handguard to get a lot hotter than it did, especially on long strings of fire when we were dumping 3 or 4 mags downrange. It's about as hot as you get with an AR-15. Would I put some insulation on there? Yeah, I'd put some M-LOK covers on it just to, well, take the sting out of the heat. Didn't really need it though. The ergonomics on this gun are great, and despite the fact we've got an ambi bolt hold open right there and bolt release, I didn't need them because in 2,500 rounds, the gun never choked. Now, if you don't like the idea of sticking your finger inside the trigger guard in order to lock the bolt to the rear, then you have the option of using an AR-style release on the left-hand side of the receiver, or you can just grab hold of the charging handle and let it rip. It gives you 3 options, and hey, options are nice. The other thing I kind of liked was the folding stock, because if you're using a can, and if you're using a 16-inch barrel carbine around vehicles, you really get to appreciate being able to knock about a foot off the overall length of the gun. And it's very easy to deploy. Simply grip it, rip it, and you're in action. Overall, I'm really impressed by the Bren 2. It already has the ability to change calibers. There is a 7.62x39 conversion kit in the factory works right now. There are different barrel lengths available. And if the factory continues to support it the way I think it should, then the aftermarket's going to follow suit. I mean, we already have people in the US bringing out components for this with the blessing of the factory. If that continues to happen, then CZ have got a world beater on their hands.